What's up, everybody? It's Nia Allen. Be sure to check out my new interview on Gospel Music Buzz.
We're back with another episode of The Buzz, y'all. I'm your host, Sherwin, with Gospel Music Buzz. Today is a very special day because check this, man. We have in the studio with us here, and I have to read a little bit of my spiel that I have here, From serving on the CeCe Winans, the leading worship on a national platform and topping in the Billboard charts, Dr. Nia Allen brings authenticity, anointing, and artistry to every note. Her brand new single, I Love You, Lord, drops June 6th, and she's here to talk about life, worship, and what's next. So we can jump right in. Nia, welcome to The Buzz. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. The one thing I'll just have to start with is that there hasn't been a time that I've seen you that you're not smiling. Like, you're always so joyous. When it's at the Stellar Awards and you gaze all the way up to the front and you're going to see someone there waving, smiling. It's like, what's bringing you joy in this season? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What's bringing you joy in this season?
Life, I've always been a person, when people see me, they're like, Nia, you always make me smile. You always have a smile on your face. So I think just from a young child, people have always said that. But I don't know. I'm just a happy person by nature and try to be positive in all that I do. But we have a lot of amazing things happening right now. So that's also bringing a smile to my face.
Okay. And hopefully we're gonna get into some of those things. And I know you also believing in just taking it, one day at a time.
Yeah.
So I guess even sort of with that same taking it one day at a time, like what's one thing that I guess that you've been grateful for recently?
Wow, I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I don't know. We just had an amazing run with Sunshine, my song Sunshine. It did amazing. I think we went number one on Billboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
2 weeks in a row. It even got a chance it crossed over to the R&B charts. I think we were like top 30 on R&B. But at the end of the day, I'm extremely grateful for chart positions and all of that and touring and opportunities. But at the end of the day, I loved hearing the testimonies of how that song just touched the hearts and lives of people. And so for people, it was their morning wake up song. It was a song to help them get their day started. I was in Columbus, Ohio, and a lady, she said at a counseling or rehabilitation center, they would play that song every morning, and it just helped them to get their day started. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, that's what it's all about. And so I'm extremely grateful for, the success, the chart positions and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's ministry. It really is about touching the hearts and lives of people. So I'm excited for what the song has done and what it continues to do.
See, they're gonna smile again right there. I love it. No, but the collaboration of that single, right?
Yes.
You collaborated with Jordan on that, and I think it was really good that a lot of folks, because sometimes whether folks want to or not, sometimes they try to put you in a box.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is.
Absolutely.
Right? But we know you're a phenomenal worshiper. You've done so much when it comes in that lane, but to kind of see you collaborating on that vibe, that sunshine, the sunroof is down,
right?
You're just vibing, doing your 1-2 step and just with it. Like, I was like, come on, Nia, you better go ahead and dance.
I think a lot of people were shocked. It was a stretch for me because usually, you think Nia Allen, you think praise and worship, right? And so I have to give a shout out to management label Cortez Harris, Louis Cortez Group. He was like, we're gonna stretch you a little bit. Let's try this sunshine and just show people. I think that's at my heart is also diversity, right? I don't want to just limit myself to just one thing and one style. And so they were very instrumental. Cortez Harris, Louis Cortez Group, and Jordan Armstrong. Shout out to my brother and friend who's an amazing artist and producer in his own right. We collaborated on the song. And so I'm excited. It was a stretch for me, but I'm glad that I did it. You don't grow unless you're constantly being stretched. And so that definitely was, it was a stretch for me, but I enjoyed it. I did. It was different, but I enjoyed it.
We enjoyed seeing it.
It was fun.
See this and definitely look. And again, because I think you mentioned while you may not do these things for the Billboard ranking and the accolades and all of that, but just seeing just the impact of God's word on the people, how they're gravitating towards it, because I'm constantly looking for new music. I have teenagers.
Yeah.
And some of them, young adults, and it's like every time I'm hearing them playing something,
Yeah.
I'm like, you should check this artist out. I'm constantly doing that. So just to see wholesome music, but wholesome music that, teenagers and everyone can really bop to and can really, make it do what it do. So that's good in it of itself.
Yeah, I will say Sunshine is one of those songs. It's multi-generational, right? Like
Yeah.
my mother loved that song, my aunts, but then my goddaughter, who is 18 years old, she was like, I like that, Nia. She was like, it's different, So I think Sunshine was one of those songs that was multi-generational, that was able to reach the young and the old. And so I'm excited about that.
And speaking of songs, you have a new single that's coming out. We've been seeing you, working in them socials. I'm seeing the 5, the 4, the 3. I'm just there waiting and scrolling through for every little snippet I can get a little bit more and a little bit more.
This Friday, it'll be out this coming Friday.
So talking about that single, Lord, I love you.
Yeah.
Just the name itself, that statement, that declaration, Lord, I love you. But in writing and like just kind of immersing yourself with that song, was there like a particular someone you were praying for? Like what season were you in, and what kind of inspired that name?
That's hilarious. I actually recorded a version of this song many years ago. I wrote the song with my dad. Similar, my dad and I, we wrote the song Wait, the song that people love, Wait.
Yeah.
We came together and we wrote this song, Lord, I Love You. And the lyrics of the song just say, Lord, I love you more each day. And the heart of it, we wanted to, a lot of times growing up in church, we know how to go through the motions. We know how to say, I love God, But really what I wanted to get to the heart of this song is just why. A lot of times we can say, I love God. I was on a Zoom call the other day with a church that I'm working with, and I was like, well, why? Why do we, really getting people to understand or reflect on why they really love him? I go back to the word, I love God because he first loved me. I think about the love and the sacrifice that was made on the cross. I love God because he's been good and faithful. He's been one of the most consistent people in my life. And so I'm grateful when I think about God's goodness and his faithfulness and his kindness in my life. My response literally is, God, I'm grateful and I love you. And so that really is the heart behind the song. I got a chance to record a version of it many years ago. CeCe Winans, she actually, we recorded, it was called CeCe Winans Presents Pure Worship. And so when management heard it, he saw a clip of us doing it on TVN. I did it live, and just how the congregation, how they responded to it. And we were like, you know what? The album was already finished. And he was like, let's do a 2025 version of this song and make it current, and just let's create a love anthem for 2025. And so that's what we aim to do. And so so that's what we're doing. And that's the goal, is just to have the whole world singing, responding when they think about God's goodness, when they think about his faithfulness in their life. Their response would be, God, I thank you, and Lord, I love you.
And you said you wrote that with your dad?
My dad, yeah.
But now, even thinking of like your Heavenly Father, but also collaborating and doing this with your earthly father, like what was that feeling like, just being there together and like both of you doing this on, creating something that's going to be timeless, that's going to live on? Like, what were you thinking in that particular moment? Like, how was that moment?
Yeah, I don't think we were into, literally the lyrics of the song came. How we write our process is I have lyrics in the melody, and then he'll put music to it. That's the same. That was our process when we wrote Wait together. I wrote Wait when I was walking down the street here in Brooklyn, New York.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Shout out to Brooklyn. I was like, I was in the midst of making a decision. I was like, Lord, I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on your time, wait on your way. I took the lyrics and the melody to my dad. He put music to it. And so I think similar with I love you, Lord, I love you. I literally was reflecting, time of reflection, and just writing down the lyrics and the melody. And I was like, Lord, I love you more. Each day. You just got an exclusive. But,
come on.
Right? But just thinking about God's love and his goodness, and I just began to sing it, and he put his chords to it. I think, I don't know, something special happens when my dad and I get together. And I think when you said earthly father and heavenly father, there may be, obviously there's something special. And I pray that the same impact that Wait has had, I pray that that same collaboration will have the same impact that we had on Wait. The same thing will happen with Lord, I Love You.
Beautiful, beautiful moment right there. I love it.
Yeah.
And the song is coming out June 6th.
Yes.
It's gonna be available everywhere June 6th. But I guess just kind of even taking a slight step back, you've done so much, and you've worshipped like with some of the best. we've seen, collaboration, whether it's Phil, whether it's CeCe. I mean, everyone calls CeCe like Jesus's baby sister.
Right.
Like, it's just like, but you were,
Yeah.
you were there, you've worked with her, you've done
Yeah.
so much different thing, like even being in those spaces. Like, is there ever a feeling like, hey, I have to show up this way or I have to show up that way? Like, for someone that have never really been in those spaces or even been on those big stages, worshiping in front of, thousands of individuals, like,
Yeah.
how do you center yourself and really show up authentically you and just fulfill the mission in those moments?
Well, I think you said it. Just there's beauty in being authentically yourself, and I think traveling with the CeCe Winans, when I first moved to Nashville, she was one of the first people that I had an opportunity to travel the world with, and you learn a lot by traveling with someone. You watch, you learn what to do on stage and off stage. And what I can say is I'm extremely grateful for just her example and her life and her witness. She's the same on stage as she is off stage. And I learned a lot while traveling. You learn a lot. You learn how to lead by serving behind somebody, right? And so I'm extremely grateful for our time together. I think, how do you show up? I was authentically myself. If I can be honest, we were literally, I remember we would go all over the world with CeCe. We were in Kenya one time. I remember it was like 5,000 people. And I'm like, golly, I'm like, Lord, just people hands lifted. I'm like, why am I here? And I don't know. It's a humbling experience. And so I think every time my mindset, every time I would go out on a stage with a CeCe Winans or Phil Thompson, it was just kind of like, Lord, humility was my response. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but God, clearly you've opened up a door, and so I know I belong here. And so I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm grateful for the many lessons that have been learned along the way, and I'm excited for all that I was able to glean. And I try to take those lessons and apply it to my own ministry.
Love that. And speaking of just learning and applying, you've written that devotional, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
What's the name of that devotional?
It's called It's a Love Thing. It's a 30-day
It's a Love Thing.
devotion. I literally I was living in California at the time. I went to Starbucks every day for like 2 hours. And I really just felt like God just deposited into my spirit, I want to just lay in the foundations of worship. So every single day it's what is worship? Why do we worship? What's the heart of worship? Worship as obedience. So it's a 30-day worship devotional where there's an excerpt on worship and then a time of reflection. So it serves as dual purpose, right? A devotional and also a journal. So if you're looking for a resource as it relates to worship, it's called It's a Love Thing. It's on my website. You can get it on my website, niaallenmusic.com.
Come on, man. Nia Allen,
niaallenmusic.com.
Listen. Come on, press ready.
Right.
I love this.
No, it really is just, it's been a tool and a resource for worship leaders, for worship teams. I'm actually doing an artist in residency position in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I do short teachings on worship. And so I've actually used that devotional as a tool and a resource. And so so it really is, it's a tool and a resource for churches and their ministries, worship departments. So I love teaching on worship. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, and I think, being able to have someone like yourself not just understand worship or has made worship your life, but just music in general. Like, you've went to Berkeley, you've done all these different things. Like, I feel like if there was not like there's a perfect model for what someone should do, because everyone's path is different. But I feel like if there's someone that's qualified, I would say that's you.
Oh,
Because you've put in the work, what is from the educational side, what is from the servitude side. But for someone that was watching this on the outskirts and just seeing, Nia the artist, or seeing, just this individual as there and all the things that you've been able to accomplish, like in those moments where, what if self-doubt were to creep in, like, how do you speak to yourself in those moments?
Well, it's definitely been a journey, right? It has not all been easy, as you've mentioned. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, discipline, focus, sacrifice. I think even to that person who's listening, if you feel like giving up, just know that we've all been there. We've all been at those places where we're like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. But I think you have to go back to your reason why. Why I have to, for me, constantly, I'm like, okay, what's the heart of what I'm doing and why am I doing it? And I allow my why and my motive just to fuel me to keep going in those moments where I feel myself getting discouraged. Because we all get discouraged, right? Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. Sometimes it helps to have people around you. I'm grateful for my tribe. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for management. I'm grateful for people who can encourage me in those moments when I'm like, I ain't got it today, and vice versa, right? Iron sharpens iron. So in those moments where they're down, I'm able to encourage them, and vice versa. In those moments where I'm like, I don't have it today, they're like, you know what, you got it, and just keep going. So definitely a strong community of people, family and friends, and sometimes you gotta encourage yourself.
Now, on stage, have you ever forgotten the lyrics before?
Absolutely.
You have? How did you recover?
You make them up on the spot and you just keep going. That's the rule is you always keep going. I've heard many stories of gospel legends that that have made up songs and lyrics on the spot. It's just like you keep going. The rule is you just keep going, make them up on the spot, and play it off. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what about there's all these myths when it comes to vocal health, and some folks would say you should do this before, you should do this after, during. Like, what have been sort of your regimen when you were going around and touring and doing all this to kind of just help you to keep your voice as pristine and angelic as it is?
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Rest, definitely. I'm a huge proponent of rest. You definitely have to know when to rest your voice. Save some, save it for the stage. I used to go real hard. And then actually, CeCe, one time I was leading worship for her conference. She was like, you need to save that. Don't give it all in rehearsal. Save that, And so just knowing when to give it all and when to pull back. So definitely rest, staying hydrated, drink a lot of water, vocal warm-ups. I'm a huge proponent of making sure you warm your voice up. Our vocal cords are muscles, right? And so I took vocal lessons. I need to start taking. That's my goal of this year. I want to pick up my vocal lessons again, but definitely taking vocal lessons and making sure that I keep my vocal cords intact, and so hydration, rest, and making sure I warm up and cool down my voice before and after I sing.
So y'all hear that, right? Hydration, rest. Make sure you warm up your voice. Don't just be running up all day like that, right?
No. Your vocal cords are muscles, right? And so just how before you work out, you got to stretch, right? If you don't, you may hurt something. So definitely warming up is important.
New single that's coming out. Once someone hit play on that single, if you were to give them a message before they were to go ahead and sort of hit play, before they just kind of, go down that journey with you and kind of just immerse themselves into that song, what would you say to that person? And even after, like, what would you want them to take away from this? Like, what was your heart putting into this?
Yeah, remember why you fell in love with God. Remember the heart of your relationship. Just remember the heart of your relationship. And just why and when you fell in love with God, and allow that to fuel you in those days when you get discouraged. Allow that to fuel you in those moments where you don't know what to do. Remember that you have a God who sees you, a God who loves you, a God who's with you even while you're going through. I know difficulties come. I don't want to paint this picture like life is flowery all the time. And so what I often tell people, even while we're going through things, it's good news to know that we have a God who's with us even while we go through it. He never leaves us. He'll never forsake us, and so just be mindful of that, and just remember that there's a God who sees you. He knows exactly where you are, and He loves you.
Definitely, that was pretty interesting in and of itself. But one thing I would say, we've been talking about the single "Lord, I Love You."
Yes.
But what's next after the single? Is there an EP? Is there an album? Is there another ebook? Like, what's next after the single?
Yeah. Both Sunshine and Lord, I Love You is a part of a body of work that I've been working on for the past year.
Really? Okay.
The theme is hope and healing, and so the full project, is called Hope is Rising, and it'll be available later this year. Had a chance to collaborate with my friend and brother Major on one of the songs. Yeah, we have a song called Just You Wait. It's an Americana vibe. I think you guys are gonna like that. I did a bilingual version of my song "Wait" with my sister Joanne Rosario, and
Nice.
she had me singing Spanish on that. So look out for that. I'm super excited about that. I did another a gospel ballad, which I think is going to be huge. I collaborated collaborated with my brother Aaron Lindsay, amazing producer and friend. I went to his house in California and we wrote a song called "Always Been You," and it's just talking about the faithfulness of God and just remembering through all that I've been through. God, you've always been there. It's always been you. I think that's going to be a pretty big song. So I'm super excited about just the diversity in this project. We have a mixture of everything. You'll find urban inspirational songs like "Sunshine," praise and worship, to a gospel ballad like "Always Been You." So I'm super excited about that. Look forward to that. That definitely will be out later this year.
How long has that been in the making so far?
The past year. Yeah. I had a chance to collaborate with different writers and artists, and my friend Jamel Kimbrell, he was one of the main producers on that project. And so, we've been working on it for a long time, and so I'm excited for the world to hear it.
Well, I'm excited for the world to hear that as well. And then just, I guess, last question on just the album itself. Like, once you set out to say, hey, I want to record this album, do you typically go into it thinking, there's a certain number of songs I want to be able to add, or you just keep writing, and when you get to a point where you're satisfied? Because I know there's this thing with artists being so perfectionist that they never want to release the album.
Right.
So, like, what's typically your process as you're diving into it?
Honestly, as the songs come, I try to record them, right? And so we started with about 10 songs, if I could be honest. Then we added "Sunshine," and then we added "Lord, I Love You." And so I think you just kind of know. We've settled there. I think we have about 12 songs right now, but I don't know. I think it's just a feeling of just like, okay, this is it. But I literally just took it one song at a time, and I'm praying that the body of work it will be something that you guys will enjoy.
All right, then give us the name of the album one more time.
Hope is Rising.
Hope is Rising.
Yes.
Love that. Any favorite scripture during this season?
If I can be honest. As for a person who, if I can be honest, I often deal with just being anxious. And so one of my favorite scriptures something I have to remind myself is a scripture in Philippians chapter 4. Don't be anxious, don't worry about anything, but remain prayerful about everything. And the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will calm your fears. And so not to be anxious. I have to constantly remind myself. Yeah.
I think that's one of mine as well, because I have to do the same thing, especially when you're about to hit record and Sam is looking at me like, all right, let's go. I'm like, let me not fumble over this.
Yeah. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and just don't be anxious about anything, but remain prayerful about everything. I have to remind myself of that daily.
Love that. Listen, we're super excited, not just for the single that's upcoming, but just to have, I would say, positive young individuals that are out there that just shows that they love the Lord. They're not afraid to say, they're not afraid to just champion the gospel. And again, what you have as an outsider standing in, even the fact that someone is meeting you for the very first time and they're seeing that joy, a lot of times that's like, some individuals just making contact, that they need that in that moment. And I would say continue to be yourself in that way, in that room when someone glances all the way across, where they could be anywhere it is. There we go again. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, continue to be that individual, because folks need that in this world. I'm super excited for the new single that's coming out. We can't wait to champion the single. We can't wait to continue to support you in everything that you're doing. Any final words to the folks?
Well, I want to say thank you. You've been supporting me from the beginning. I literally remember when I met you and your wife.
Yeah.
So thank you for your support. Thank you for your continual support. And I'm honored just to be here. So I want to publicly thank you. I know you don't have to, but I thank you for doing that.
Appreciate it.
I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nia Allen, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right.